Well, Shaggy, are you and Scooby ready to learn about reporting? We need to start the story on the locker fire.
We're ready, Velma. What do we do?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, let's explore news reporting first. You know, a lot of reporters think that the word news stands for the 4 points of the compass, north, east, west, and south. Actually, it comes from an old French word, nouvelle, meaning tidings, intelligence, or accounts. But modern news does come from all directions and from all kinds of people in all kinds of situations.
And a reporter has to translate what's happening into a story, right?
Yes, a news story is a factual report of what has occurred. It tells the reader what has happened in the shortest, clearest, most interesting, and accurate way possible.
Wow, that sounds like a tough assignment, Velma. How does a reporter ever manage the whole thing?
Let's go over to the school and I'll explain.
Let's go.
Okay, a reporter should investigate his story thoroughly.
Is this the scene of the crime?
If you mean, is this where the locker fires occurred, that's right.
Okay. What now, Ace Reporter?
Well, a good reporter gathers all the facts possible.
How?
By interviewing eyewitnesses, inspecting records, and getting statements from officials and persons first on the scene. It's also a good idea to explore clues based on tips.
Well, what are we waiting for?
I'm one step ahead of you. I've already talked to everyone that might shed some light on this case.
What'd you find out, Velma?
The fires all occurred at night. The watchman didn't see anything suspicious. The students who used the lockers don't know how it could have happened.
What now?
I've got all the facts and statements available, so I'll start to write the story.
What do you include?
My purpose is to inform and stimulate the reader. Accuracy is the most important quality. At the same time, I need to bring out the dramatic value of the story and spur reader interest.
Boy, that sounds like a tough assignment. Where do you start?
At the beginning.
Scooby's right there. News stories must convey their information swiftly and briefly, and that starts right with the lead.
The lead? What's the lead?
The lead is the important opening paragraph. It should grab the reader's interest.
Sort of like putting the bait on the hook.
Exactly. The modern lead paragraph usually contains no more than 2 or 3 sentences, or about 30 words, yet it should include enough of the 5 W's and H to introduce the story.
5 W's and H?
Sounds like some kind of rock group.
No, the 5 W's and H are the questions a reporter tries to answer. Who, where, what, when, why, and how. Any of these questions that are not answered in the lead should be included in the second paragraph.
Oh, I see.
The lead should be concise. There's no room for unnecessary words.
Well, what's your lead gonna be?
Let's see. How about, fire has struck 3 lockers in the past week at Grover High School. The nighttime blazes have caused only minor damage, but their cause remains a mystery. And my second paragraph could be, the 3 lockers belong to juniors Jim Sanders, Bob Levitt, and Fred Jackson. 2 lockers are located in the South Corridor and the other locker in the East Wing. Vice Principal Michael Duncan says local police are looking into the incidents.
Sounds great. That lead really grabs my interest.
What comes next?
Next, the body of the story. It develops each of the 5 W's and H in the lead paragraph and second paragraph. It includes other details that may not be essential, but that are interesting to a thorough reader.
Well, what will the body of this story be like?
I'll describe how the fires were discovered and by whom. Then I'll tell how the police are going about their investigation. Also, I'll list the damage to the student's property as well as the school's property. For the final paragraph, to wrap up the story to this point, I might even mention the Scooby-Doo gang has volunteered to try and solve the mystery.
That sounds like it might be a pretty long story.
I'll be writing as concisely as possible. I'll also write so each paragraph is complete in itself. The editor can remove one or more paragraphs without hurting the story.
Say, that's pretty clever. How would the editor know what to cut?
Well, she'd take out the least important or interesting facts. In my story, she would probably start cutting from the end. The style of news writing I'm using is called the inverted pyramid. The most important facts are at the top of the story and diminish in importance as the story continues.
Is the inverted pyramid the only way to write news stories?
About 90% of all stories are in that style, but another method is to use suspended interest. That's just the opposite of the inverted pyramid. The writer starts with the least important facts and builds to the climax or most important point of the story.
Anything else?
News stories should not be slanted. They should be completely factual with no hints of the writer's personal opinion.
That sounds like a very good policy.
Even a single word can color the news.
Do you have an example, Velma?
What if I had written in my lead, "An arsonist has struck 3 lockers in the past week at Grover School"?
What do you mean?
Well, Scooby, the fires may not have been man-made.
Does that take care of news writing, Velma?
Just a few more points you should know. Whenever possible, cite authority, preferably in the lead or second paragraph, like Vice Principal Michael Duncan, rather than just Michael Duncan. The tone of the writing should fit the subject matter. If it's a serious situation, be serious. But if it's less serious, a lighter style might work better. Also, how much each story is developed will depend on the size of the paper and how much news it can handle.
Oh boy, I can see that being a good news writer takes more than just being able to type, huh, Scoob?
That's right. The best qualities are curiosity, attention to detail, accuracy, objectiveness, and an eye for dramatic value.
Do you have to be an expert in grammar and stuff?
It's important to know good grammar, but every newspaper should develop its own style sheet. That's a guideline of punctuation, capitalization, abbreviations, and other technical aspects of writing.
Speaking of guidelines, have we wrapped up this story yet?
There's still a lot to learn about journalism. We better keep our noses to the grindstone.
There you go, talking about noses again, Velma. Oh, well, I guess you're right. We don't want to blow this story, do we?
Oh, nose.